Hey y'all, Grandma Rose here. How you doing? Happy New Year. Today's New Year's Day. Don't know if you'll see this today on New Year's Day. It's lunchtime or a little bit past lunchtime and I'm hungry for pizza. And I don't have any pizza crust. Otherwise I would go ahead and make my pizza and have it for lunch. And you know what I could do actually? I could use a burrito, because I do have some burritos and that makes a pretty good pizza crust. I may do that. The main thing I want to do is check and see how the basil leaves that I preserved turned out. It's been several months now, and what I did is I packed them in salt. So I'm going to make pizza. I'll take you along with me. I'm going to make my homemade pizza sauce. I'm cooking a roasted hen today tonight for dinner, and I will be having black-eyed peas and cornbread with my roasted hen, and I don't know what kind of greens I'm going to have. Probably green beans, since I've got lots and lots of jars of green beans. But for lunch, I'm going to have pizza. So if you want to see how I make pizza sauce, that's great. And then we will check on and check on the basil and see how these basil leaves turned out. So come with me in the kitchen. Okay, y'all, like I said, I'm hungry for pizza. Now, here is my notebook. Let me show you this. I don't know if everybody has this. A lot of people have recipe files with cards, index cards like we used to use. What I have is a little small, what is that? Don't know the dimensions of this. I actually got 3 of these. This one is just a notebook, and inside this I've got my recipes and a ring binder. This is my pizza sauce, and I will take a photo of this and some other things and tack this in here so you can actually see my pizza sauce. Pause the video and write it down if you want to. So here we go. Here's my recipe right there, and it says on here, if you read it in pencil, of course, basic marinara sauce, and I have written up here my pizza sauce. And that's really all it is. It's a marinara sauce. I'm putting them in out of order because I'm going to use my hands to squeeze the tomatoes. No, I don't have to. These tomatoes are already diced, so I don't have to do that. I'm looking at my can over here. So here's my ingredients. Okay, the onion is going with pepperoni, and I've got some of my frozen bell peppers. Red bell peppers. There's a green bell pepper in there. This will go on it. So I'm going to have a pepperoni, onion, and bell pepper pizza. Mozzarella cheese right here. There's the tomatoes, tomato paste. So there's parsley in this can. What this was, I got this like this at Tuesday morning, I think several years ago, and I just keep refilling it with dried parsley from the grocery. Parsley, oregano, basil. I do have my own basil. And everything else is canned or dried, and fresh garlic. Olive oil. Let's don't forget the olive oil. I transfer my olive oil to this pretty bottle. And I think that's it. Maybe some salt and pepper. It doesn't say anything about salt and pepper. I'll probably put a little bit of salt and pepper in it to taste. That's it. So let's do it. What I usually do, I'm going to go ahead at this point, since I don't have to squish the tomatoes with my hands. I've already taken the top off this. I have one of those wonderful can openers that has the top where it takes it actually just pinches the top off of it, and you're left with a can that doesn't have a sharp edge. Or this doesn't have a sharp edge. So this is great. And then I can use these cans for other things. I use one of these to dump out my chicken feed. Pour that in the saucepan. It takes a whole large can of tomatoes, And if they're not already diced like this was, you take them in your hands and you squish them. Well, you be sure your hands are clean, of course. But you squish them up, and that's all you need to do. Now, the next thing is half a can. Half a can. So it's 3 ounces of tomato paste. So that's half a can of tomato paste. I'll spoon that out. And then according to the recipe, I'm going to need about a teaspoon each of the dried herbs. Fresh, a couple of tablespoons, 1 or 2 tablespoons of each. Fresh, about a teaspoon each. And then my recipe says more of basil than the oregano. And I measured in my hand, not exact. So, after we do all of this, add garlic, add the olive oil. That's 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then the seasonings. Then I'm going to simmer it for about 20 minutes. And then I'll grate the mozzarella cheese and put it in the oven for a pizza crust. I'm using large flour tortilla. And it works. Nothing wrong with that. It's not yeasty. So you don't get that wonderful yeast flavor, but it works fine. In a pinch for lunch, this is great. For dinner, I'll take longer. And I will make some. No, actually, I will not make the pizza crust for you because you can go online and you can get it.
Hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Patera with you. Tonight, as promised, I'm going to show you how I make my very simple pizza dough.
Okay, y'all. That is why I did not show you my pizza dough recipe, because this is the one that I use. So y'all go over to Patera's website, Appalachian Homestead with Patera, and watch her 2-year-old recipe for the ultimate pizza recipe. And you will be happy you did, because this is really, really delicious and probably the best pizza crust I have ever tasted. I don't need to show you how to make pizza crust because Patera already has. So there you go, y'all. So here we go. Let's do this. So I'm going to put, whoops, that's too much. About like that of parsley. Pretty good. Not a big handful. Oregano. About that much oregano. Basil. That's about how much oregano I put in. But about that much basil. I like basil in this crust, in this sauce. We got that. 2 tablespoons or more of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. And my measuring spoons. There we go. Should have had that out, but I didn't. So let's put 1 tablespoon. 2 tablespoons. And I put a little more because it's not all coming out of the spoon. So let me put a little more. That's about another teaspoon. And that's all I need. Now I'm going to use this same spoon and I'm going to get the tomato paste. Tomato paste off that lid. About half of the can of tomato paste. So I'm going to estimate. Here's my thumb here measuring what's about a half can. And it'll be hard to see inside, but I think I can do it. I need a little more. That's about right. That's maybe a little bit more than a half can, but that's all right. It's not going to hurt anything. Make it richer. All this. I'm not going to waste any of this. I'm getting every bit of it out of here. And we know it's going to cook on the stove. It's going to cook in the oven. And I did wash my hands first because I thought I was going to be squishing up the tomatoes. So there you go. Now it's going on the stove. I'll stir it and cook it for about 20 minutes and we'll bring you back. So there it is on the stove. I'm just going to turn the heat up. I'm going to turn up the heat to high. All the way up until it comes to a simmer. And when it comes to a simmer, I'll turn it down. And that's all there is to it, folks. Just simmer this, let it cook for about 20 minutes until it thickens some, and we'll come back to you when that's done. You know what I forgot? I forgot the garlic. Let's do the garlic. And I can hear this, my sauce starting to bubble behind me, so I need to go ahead and get this in it pretty quickly. I've never measured to see how much in teaspoons that is. That looks, I don't know how much. How much is it, do you suppose? I never measured. I just say about 3 cloves and about 3 good-sized large cloves of garlic. And that should be enough. Let me measure it out of curiosity. Here's my tablespoon that I used. Scrape this into the tablespoon. And you know what? That is not quite a tablespoon of garlic. But it's more than a teaspoon. See that? Maybe 1.5 teaspoons? I don't know. That's how much garlic I put in here. Pretty good amount. But it's going to make a good... That's a big container. And that's going to be enough. I'm going to freeze what's left over. Stir that in. I'm going to stir that in. And you see I'm using my tablespoon, my measuring spoon set. Why not? It's already dirty. Why dirty another one? There we go. Turn the heat down. Just going to simmer for about 20 minutes. I'll set my timer. Where's the timer? Timer's right there. Okay, y'all. While the pizza sauce is bubbling, let's check this basil and see how it looks. Because I haven't even opened this. And I did this back in October. So it's at least 3 months, going on 4 months old. Smells good. It smells really good. Let me see. I think I'm going to use my great big knife. Why not? And dig into that. And here is a leaf of basil. Look at this. It's still soft. It's still pliable. Look at that. It's not dried. It's got salt on it. I think maybe 1 leaf is going to be enough for a pizza. But I have a whole jar of this with the salt in there. And I have a video on how to do this. See, there's another, the leaves are just packed on top of each other. See that? So the leaves of basil are just packed on top of each other. The salt in between them. And then salt on the top to cover it. That looks fabulous. I'm thrilled. It smells good. Okay, y'all. It makes me happy. There we go. So I will show you that video on how to do that because it's basically self-explanatory, isn't it? Start with salt in the bottom. Layer the leaves, the fresh leaves. I took the stems off, as you can see. And then just layered it with salt. This was kosher salt. And that's all there was to it. Just layering them in here. But I will show you the video. I took the time to record it. I might as well show you the video. So there we go, y'all. We're going to wait until the pizza's ready, until the sauce is ready, and then I'll assemble it. Which, we all know how to assemble pizza, right? I don't think I need to show you how to do that, but I will. See you in a bit. Let's chop up these peppers. The peppers are pretty much thawed at this point. I don't want little bitty pieces, but I don't want great big pieces either. So that should be enough, I think. plenty for one small pizza. There we go. So there's the peppers ready to go on the pizza. And I could cook them first, but I don't see any reason to do that. Now, a tomato, do the same thing. It's a small pizza. I don't need a whole lot of tomato. So I think I'll do about that much. There we go. And this is what I usually do. I just cut it in half like that. That's for compost. Now I've got the rest of this just to cut up. And I had already peeled the outside of the onion, gotten the papery part, the onion skin off of it. And that should be good for the onion. I think I'm just going to mix the onion and the pepper together. Why not? That should be good. Now, I'm going to take this basil leaf here, and then just cut little strips of it. What do you think? I'm amazed that it's not dry. So that should be good on the pizza. Maybe chop it up a little bit more. A little bit more. That should be good. There we go. So that's ready. And I'm not going to put that in with the tomato and with the onion and pepper yet. I'll leave that like that. And then pepperoni. Well, pepperoni. I like the big packages of pepperoni that you get at Walmart also. So there's 2 little pieces, which is, I guess if you had a full-size pizza, that would be about right for a full pizza. But I think what I'm going to do is just use the knife and cut it in half like so. And then I can get out half of these. And fold that back up. Now that it's been opened, I need to put it in the refrigerator. So that should be about right. And since it's a small pizza, I'm just going to cut this in half. Now I'll have more bites of pepperoni. That's a lot of pepperoni for one little pizza, but I like pepperoni. Okay, there we go. Just wait for the yum. I just licked my fingers. Okay, now I'm going to grate some cheese. Move this out of the way. And I don't know how much cheese do I want. About like that, I think. We'll see. What do you think? That looks about right for the... Maybe too much. We'll see. Where's my grater? Do you have a little grater like this? I got this at the grocery or one of the dollar stores. And I really like this thing. So you can just grate right over your whatever you're working on. Now this cheese has been out of the refrigerator for a while, and you know how soft mozzarella is. So it's really, I could almost pinch it off. Really smushing down on here, isn't it? Ooh, that's good. That's going to be a lot. That's almost enough right there. Have a double cheese. Be really careful at this point because I don't want to grate my fingers. I've done it before, and I bet you have too. And it's not fun. I don't like to do that. So I'm being really careful with this cheese. And I am rubbing it across the grater, but I'm not pushing very hard. Just rubbing it. Do you have a mandolin? I have a mandolin, and I have cut my fingers on the mandolin before, and that hurt. Okay, that is a lot of cheese. But I'm going to have a lot of cheese on my pizza. Look at that. There's a whole lot of cheese. Probably more than I need. There we go. Now we're ready for the pizza to get ready, the sauce to get ready. One last thing to do. Let's get my, well, this is the other end, is the one that's open. Look at this. This is actually broken. I have to be careful there on that side. I don't want it to get down in the pan. But I have a 14-inch griddle. Let me show you. Turn this around and show you what I'm doing. I have the 14-inch large griddle. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I do my pizza in. So that'll be a pretty good sized pizza, right? Think about that. If this is 14 inches in diameter, I don't know, 10 inches maybe? Pretty good sized, personal sized pizza. We'll be back when the sauce is done. Hey y'all, I want you to see the sauce. I'm over here looking at the sauce. I'm holding up the camera. I can hear the difference, and I can see the difference in the way the bubbles are rising to the surface. The sauce is getting thicker. Can you see that? When I stir it, the liquid in it is less runny than it was. It's not quite as thick as I want it to be yet, and it's been about 16, 17 minutes. Maybe by 20 minutes it'll be ready. But it might take 25. I'm just going to wait until it's done. I'm not going to rush it. Just because the recipe says 20 minutes doesn't mean it's going to be ready at 20 minutes. It may be ready at 18 minutes, or it may be ready at 25. I don't know. But right now it's getting there, but it's not quite. It's still a little, the sauce is a little bit not quite thick enough. So let's check this and see what it's looking like. So this has been 20 minutes. You know, what I'm worried about is this part of it. The rest of it looks great, but I think it may still be just a little bit thin. Okay, y'all, I cooked this for 2.5 more minutes. So this cooked for 22.5 minutes. Ouch. Yeah, I just splashed my arm with it. It was hot. See this? See the sauce? Most of the water from the sauce has evaporated. And what's here is pretty thick. And that's what I like for a pizza sauce. Now for a marinara sauce that I was going to put on pasta, at 20 minutes I think it would have been fine. But I like this texture, this thickness a little bit better for pizza. I don't want it to run all over the place when I spoon it on my crust. So I'm going to use my spoon. Wooden spoon, and I love this wooden spoon. I would like to say it was handmade, but I got this on Amazon. And I believe it's made out of olive wood. It's been a really nice spatula. I like it a whole lot. So let me turn that handle around back over there so I can just, I'm going to move this pan right over next to it, like so. And just take this and get a good scoop of the pizza sauce and put it on there. Let's see how that looks. I think that might be just about enough. What do you think? See, it's not running all over. If that were any thinner, that sauce would be running out to the edge. Since this is flat and it doesn't have it's not raised like it would be if you had had a yeast crust that you had rolled out. It would have had an edge around it. So I put just a spoonful more, and I think that's going to be plenty. Oops. And it got over there on the pan, which is, I think at this point I can just use my finger and get that off. Now, my oven is turned to 400. Leave this back over here on the burner. 400. Let me get my ingredients. The first thing I'm going to put on will be the pepperoni. See that? And there. And there. I'm going to put this little piece of the basil. Okay, there's that fresh basil. Now, there's the onion and the peppers. Just sprinkle that over the top. That looks about right. Maybe have a pepper over here and a pepper there. I think that's about right. One there. Now we'll get the onion. Onion on. I don't know how much of this cheese I'm going to put on here. I may put all of it. So it looks good. You know what? I only have that much left. Let's put it all on. Over here. I don't want it on the pan. I don't want it to melt and get on the pan. A little bit over here. And every little bit. Get it off the pan. I don't want it to melt on the pan. I'm going to put this in the oven and I'm going to check it after 10 minutes. 10 minutes doesn't sound like very much. But this is a very thin crust and I don't want the crust to burn. And everything else is already cooked in it. Well, the onion and the pepper's not cooked. But I don't care if that's cooked all the way. I eat raw onion on my hamburger. So that wouldn't hurt me to eat some onion that's not quite cooked on here either. So this is going in the oven. Open up my oven. And I do have a pizza stone in my oven, but I'm using this instead. Okay, y'all, the pizza's in the oven. It's about to come out of the oven. You want to check it? There it is. Let's open it up and see. Okay, look at that, y'all. That looks just right. See, the edges are just starting to brown. Cheese is starting to brown on the top. Perfect. Okay, close this, turn off the timer. There we go. Now I can get it out of the oven. My plate's all ready. The plate that I had the cheese on is what I'm going to eat the pizza on. Out of the oven. Hot, hot, hot. Here we go. Woo! Doesn't that look great? Turn that off. It's off. Look at that, y'all. Now, I could either cut that with the pizza cutter, or I can use the knife that I used to chop up the garlic, and I think that's... Oh, ouch! And I just barely touched that handle. I'm going to put some lavender oil on my finger. Okay, that's done. That's good enough. I'm going to put some lavender oil on my finger where I burned it. You know, I don't even have to taste it to know that that's going to be good. See how you've got to make this. This marinara sauce is easy, takes 20 minutes to cook, and it is delicious. You really have to try this. It's good for pasta and for pizza. Bon appetit, y'all. See you next time. Bye.